Hello everyone. Today I wanted to do a little video on some new functionality that we've released, combining some functionality in the accounting systems that we use with our clients, and also the portal. And it's a really interesting piece of functionality. It essentially gives you the ability to create task lists for people based on roles. So effectively you have two types of role. You effectively have a manager or head of finance or someone in a senior position. And the idea is that the people in this senior position, when they're reviewing the accounts and they have questions on specific transactions or things that they need to happen, they can create these tasks and then schedule emailed task lists to be delivered to specific users, whether that's within your finance team, or more if you're doing it from an accountant sending a task list to their client. They will receive these scheduled emails and they can take the appropriate actions based on the tasks that you create for them. Right. And so what I'm doing here is I'm going to show you an example of how this works and what you get, and how you can work through this process. Okay, so as an example here, you can see I've just run a supplier open items report in Twinfield. That is the example I'm going to show you. This functionality is planned to be added to Xero, but at the moment this is a relationship between Twinfield and the secure login portal that we provide. Okay. So in this instance, I can see that there's a bank transaction here, right? This middle one, that's the one I'm going to work on. Okay, and I'm going to pretend that this item line below doesn't exist and that I'm missing an invoice, okay? Or I have a query on this bank transaction here, right? And on the right here, you'll see that there is a button to say new question. And if I click this button, you can see it pulls through certain details from the transaction. It says that there is a payment of this amount against this company. I can ask different questions. Is it private or business, or is it a missing invoice or something else? Okay, and I can say, right, there is now a note for the customer or whoever this might be, someone in the finance team, to say, please can you ask the supplier or for this invoice to match the payment. Okay, and I'm going to say that an attachment is required to finish this case. Okay, and then I can save that. Okay, and what you'll notice now is that the status on that row is changed to open, which indicates there is now an open question on that item. When that item has been resolved, the status will update to this completed tag on the right hand side. So you can see the status of items here, or also within the portal, which is something that I will show you in a little bit of time. Okay, so I've created that question, and where that appears, if I just refresh this now, is under your to-do items. Excuse me. You can see that there is now a question for this item of £220. Okay, and some action needs to be created, and the notes that have been added to that query also show as a commentary on the right here. Okay, so this is the query I created when on the video, but I also have the ability to create manual tasks if I want as well, i.e. not from within the accounting system. The accounting ones will show under this bookkeeping task, but there is also the ability to create other tasks, which could be anything. It could be, if I click I want to create a manual transaction, I can say something as simple as please sign the engagement letter, or whatever it might be. Okay, I'm going to say this is an other task. This list of options in terms of type can be created, and you can just say please sign email from last week, or whatever it might be. Okay, and again, you can say if an attachment is required, and if they need to upload a file, they can upload it. But I'm just going to create that case, and you can see now that I have two open items for someone to then deal with. Right. Now what happens then in the background of this is you have some settings. Okay, and these settings basically give you the frequency and the list of users who are going to receive this task list. Okay, so within this client I only have one what is referred to as a client user, but this is effectively someone that you want to handle these tasks. And this says that every 2 weeks on a Monday at 10 o'clock, they are going to receive an email, right? You then activate which users you want to be included in this. So if I had a long list of users, whoever has the button ticked on the email side will receive the notifications to complete the tasks. Okay, I only have one in this instance, but you would just say nothing for those you don't want to include, and then email for those that you do. Okay. Then, just to show you sort of what happens and what you get, is periodically you'll get an email like this. This is the email that says, "Dear John Doe," in this instance, whoever it might be, there are currently some questions for you to answer. Please, can you answer them? Okay. And what I'll do is I click on the review details button. That is just opening in another browser because I now have to log in as a different person because I'm no longer doing it from the manager's perspective. Okay. And it asks me for my verification code as the junior user, if you like. So I just need to go into my phone and say, right, I'm going to enter my code to access. And then I have a list of the current tasks that I need to perform. Okay, and all I then need to do is select the item. I can either leave a note and say, I'll do this next week, or I have a problem with this, there's an error with the file. So I just say, okay, there is an error with the in the document, and I say that's fine, that note is added. I'm still on this item, so if I'm now happy with it, I can say it is done, and then I effectively work through my list of tasks, okay, and complete them. And as I say, this is a recurring email that will just be delivered, and it's quite a nice way of tracking all of the different things that you have open in relation to a specific client. Okay, so now that task is done, what I can do is I can go back to my task list. I'm just going to refresh this, and you can see now I have an update. Okay, so that user has gone and looked at that query, provided an update. Okay, I can select the item here, and you can see that the email was sent. There is an error in the document. It's the response that's come back from John Doe. Okay, and now I can review that and say, okay, that is fine, I understand, or the necessary action has been completed, and I can close that case. Okay, and then that item drops out of the current open task list, and it will appear in the completed queue at the top under other here. You can see that this was completed and everything is catalogued and everything is within there. Okay, so you also get that complete list of everything that is completed, and there are some. You can also get a global overview of all of the different status and open queries that exist across all of your portfolio. So if you wanted to go through here and say, okay, I just want to look at all open queries, it will then filter out those results so you can have that global overview across, say, an accounting practice if that was relevant to you as well. Okay, so there are some different ways that you can look and interpret and look at the different questions from that global perspective as an accountant. Okay, if I just go back, that is effectively showing you all of the functionality around this. It's quite a simple tool, but it's very effective. It's just a nice way of keeping everything in one place, and also automating those scheduled emails to ensure that everyone is aware of their queries and things get resolved as soon as possible. Okay, I have shown you an example with Twinfield. There is the new question button. There is a button in Basecone as well. If you're using that combination of apps, the plan is that this will be added to things like Xero and Receipt Bank as other options in the future. Okay, and that's pretty much the open questions functionality. I think it's a really interesting tool. I hope so that people will find it interesting. If you have any further queries on this, please do let us know, and we'll be happy to answer any questions or help you getting this set up if it is something that you want to use. Thank you. Bye.